Hey, what's up, guys? Terminator2 here, Retribution Gaming. Tonight on the Gloom Talk podcast, I'm joined with Wolfer.
Hey,
How are you?
hey,
How are
glad
you,
to be
buddy?
here, man. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you going, Tom?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
You good? That's good. Seems like we had a busy past like couple of weeks. Sorry, this pod is coming out a little bit later than usual.
Yeah, let's start with the Knights vs Nemesis because this has been asked about in our Discord. Okay,
Mm,
where's the video? Because we were trying to get this out before Frosty's event, so they could look at that and then go from that. In short, Bing got busy. Bing is editing this. Like he's doing
yeah.
all of it himself. He wants to make this his own personal project, so we let him edit it. The message I got a few moments ago, at the time of recording this, he is almost done with it. So it
Beautiful.
should hopefully be out this week.
Yep.
It is not the cleanest event, is it, Wolfer, that we done?
No, no. I think but it was definitely fun, and there was some bosses that I don't think we can ever like speak the name of again by how much they really annoyed us, I would say.
Yeah, so let's give a rundown of how it went for the teams on the day as well. Okay, so we have
Mm,
Team Nemesis right now.
mhm.
Team Nemesis was set to train a week or two before the event took place. Team Nemesis had zero training for the event. Team Nemesis ended up getting a fill-in player at the last minute on the day of the event because of things that went down in that team. Just people letting down the team.
Oh no.
And then Team Knight, you guys done really well. You trained for the event. You had some really
Mhm.
good practice runs, but when it came to execution, right,
Oh
just
God, we choked.
yeah, didn't pay
Well,
off.
we were just inconsistent because, yeah, as I said, like we just had like semi-casual people kind of coming back into the game slowly, which is really fun. So yeah, no, it was overall like very positive. I think we really enjoyed the event itself. But unfortunately, yeah, as you said, like we have some really good practice runs, and uh, we were let down by a couple of silly mistakes, which kind of then like yeah led us down like a downward spiral.
What we also had was a very rare bug appear
Mm.
on Reaver King. We had
Well, done.
the arrows one-shotting me in a second flat.
Oh, that one.
We have tried to replicate this bug, and
Mhm.
a couple of people in the community have been asked to replicate this, and they can't. Even with imbuements on, they can't replicate that.
Ah.
Um, like
Yeah.
me and Vecna tonight were sat there doing it as well, and
Mhm.
we managed to stack up the two of the ad's arrows. In the video, it's only one set of arrows. Um,
Right.
like so tonight we done two sets of arrows, and we managed to just stand there for you know taking it as it was. Didn't really hurt, but
Mhm.
yeah, don't know what happened there. But you will see me go down on Reaver King. And I think
So funny.
Storm Twins, I fell
Yeah.
for the arrows as well, but
Just really don't like arrows, do you?
no, no. I hadn't actually done Storm Twins in quite some time. Um,
Yeah. It's been a hot
Leading
minute
up to
since I've
that,
done Conference too, but
Reaver King actually shocked me going down on that. Bug or
mm.
not, I don't know what happened, but Titan Spain likes to take people places. So,
Yeah, yeah, no. I
how
mean,
did
for
you
us, like, it
feel?
was
How did you feel
I mean,
about the
like, look,
event?
we felt really good. Like, I mean, I if you want to put up the score sheet, like, I think like for the most bosses, like we did really well. It was genuinely just two bosses where we just I think made some silly mistakes, and then we just didn't recover properly, and we just spiraled with time, which kind of really like lost yeah, which really just yeah made us lose the event. I think it was like
Yeah.
Bloodborne and I think Reaver King as well. Was it?
Yeah, the event got
Yeah.
actually pretty close.
Yeah, yeah. Like, if you take out practice run times or whatever, like,
If you
we had,
take
like,
your
17 minutes.
yeah.
Mhm.
The one thing I said to Bing when editing, because he wanted to include some of the practice runs in the editing,
Mm.
I don't have any practice runs to give him because we didn't
Right.
practice. Like, there's
Yeah,
none.
yep.
Um, which
Mm.
was a shame because I would have liked to have compared both teams in their practice stages to how they actually
Yep.
performed on the day as well.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
Spoiler alert: Team Nemesis
Uh,
clutched win.
mm,
Surprisingly, honest-
surprisingly.
surprisingly, given how bad it was for us on the day, and
Mm,
like the conditions we went into. But yeah,
mm.
a win's a win, right? So I'm taking that, and Mod's got to come on podcast at some point.
Yeah, at
Um,
some point.
but speaking of competitions,
Mm.
we then had the Frosty event on the
Oh yeah.
Saturday just gone. Again,
Mm.
this is you're going to see a common trend here.
Yeah.
Um,
This is just lack of
so
organization.
we originally were going to go into this. We had
Mm,
on a notepad 2 teams.
mm.
Because of the way Knights and Nemesis went down, Nemesis doesn't really have a
A
full
team
team right
anymore.
now. Like
Mm,
there's 2 of us. You then have Knights, but some of them couldn't make the days, or or
mm.
whatever. Um, and then it kind of just went on to hell. We can't put out 2 teams that they can make it on the day. Let's just go and put out a fun team. It got to the point where none of them had trained, so they turned up on the day, and
We had to like get malt in like maybe like 3 days before the actual event, and with obviously time zones and being very very different for each player. Like training just did not happen as well, and then it was just like, you know what, let's just go on the day and like meet some cool people from the community and see what happens. And oh boy, some stuff happened, all right.
yeah.
Mm.
So what have we learned from these last 2 events?
We have to train. I think training is important.
Exactly. Um, so for
Mm,
any future events, I'll own one
mm,
included that we plan on doing.
mm. We'll
we're only
announce that
gonna
a bit later.
we're
We're
only
just
gonna
working out
take
the final details. But
yeah,
yeah,
we're only gonna take part once the teams have trained, and we're not going to be
Mhm.
sending in any more fun teams because it wasn't.
We're not.
I think everyone went in with the intention that it'd be fun. It was
Mm.
painful to watch.
Oh god, everyone had their competitive face on, and we're like, "Oh shit! Like we are like in the wrong room right now."
Like
Like,
I
yeah, it
was
was
watching
just.
watching Frosty and Snarf stream, and
Mm,
I
mm.
you had some good times in there.
We did. I think it
Um,
was genuinely like I think if he's uh, like I think like we will also learn like if we're not prepared for an event, we just go with like like the wayfinder that you're most comfortable with. And I think the last minute change. So originally we are gonna have Ven with me, Thyla with Malt, and Vecna was gonna play Wingrave. And I think if we had that combination, like it would have been fine. We would have like placed in the middle, and like it wouldn't have been too bad. But the fact that we didn't have Wingrave, like, let 2 of the bosses down, and we really suffered with timings, which was, yeah, Reaver King and Storm Twins, I think it was.
yeah, yeah. It was. It is what
Mm,
it is, but it was. I mean, as I said to you guys coming out of that, you all got some experience, right? Like, there's a couple
mhm.
of us in the guild that have been in tournaments and stuff before. There's a
Yep.
hell of a lot of people in the guild that haven't ever been
Yeah,
to
this
a
was actually
tournament.
my first tournament, so that was really fun and interesting.
So walking away with that experience, like,
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely woke. I feel Knights up as well. I see like Molten being a very determined now. It's kind of
Yeah, yeah. Like, sparked a
woken.
fire in them to, like, get back to speed with their gear and stuff.
Yeah,
Like, Malt was very like, pretty underpowered for the event, I would say. Like, we got him, like, to a playable level. But I think now he's, like, going that extra step to, like, finish his build and all that, so it's good though, like, there's definitely some positives and, like, Frosty did a really good job organizing it and trying to, like, get, like, the devs in as well, like, a huge shout out to them as well for coming in and participating and also, like, organizing prizes and all that and making it, that a little bit more official, which made it, I guess, a bit more competitive in hindsight.
yeah, it was definitely entertaining to watch.
Mm.
And
I'm
we can.
glad.
The best thing of all is we've now been part of 2 competitions, one of our own, and then we've done
Mm.
Frosties. I
Mhm.
the best thing for me coming away from that, considering I've only been in one and I wasn't in the other, is I
Mhm.
can look at the rule sets. I can look at how things were done, and
Mm.
kind of work to take the good aspects from both and work them into our
Mhm.
event that we plan. Now, I have also
Yeah.
spoke to Frosty,
Mm.
so shout out to him, because of the way like he done an okay job at commentating. He had a really good team as well with him. We actually
Mhm.
reached out to him, and when we do our one, he will happily commentate that as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
So that allows us to kind of go in and compete as well.
Mhm.
And then like obviously we might have a couple of our guys help Frosty out on that, but yeah, it just allows like me being Wolfer all to take part in the event
Yeah.
without having to worry about that
Someone
side of
mediating.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have him as a mediator to just kind of oversee everything because he did a phenomenal job with that, I think. So,
So
huge thank you, Frosty.
if we go into another one, and once the teams are trained up, I think
Mhm.
Knights will probably be ready for the next one. If
I
Nemesis,
think so.
if I can get another person to fill Nemesis and get us back to
Mhm.
training, because at the moment we're training two man, so
Mm.
um, yeah, is what it is on that. But if we can get the teams going, and get them trained and stuff, could be really interesting.
Yep.
How about like we go on to the bigger news though? I guess this is
Yeah, like,
the
actually Wayfinder news, right? Like
this is the stuff that's being requested in our Discord as well. We know some of
Mhm.
you guys would be interested in this. And we know a couple of Warframe content creators have kind of made this out to be something it's not. But we'll go on the record with it. But it's the layoff, the publishing.
Yeah.
So, in short, like they're not going to be publishing Wayfinder under DE anymore,
Yeah.
and a lot of people like I've seen the Warframe YouTubers. One of the big ones at least have been kind of saying like
Mhm.
oh, it's over Wayfinder, like not directly saying it, but hinting that it's because of the way Wayfinder performed. And I kind of do have to be that guy. I really do have to be that guy. Um,
Yeah.
because there's a little more to it than that, really.
Mm.
So let's start off with the first things first. So the layoffs, like on the publishing side, for Wayfinder, that actually doesn't mean too much.
I would say so.
And if anything, from my point of view, could actually benefit Wayfinder because I don't
Mm.
know if a lot of you are aware, V was the one handling like the server stuff at the early access launch. And
Mm.
guess what got messed up? The early
The
access
serve.
launch with the servers and the logins and the queues and it got
Yeah.
to the point that while Airship, I'm not saying is squeaky clean in this, like
Mm.
DE had to issue an apology, and I think a lot of people have forgotten that. So yeah, I won't
Yep.
read out the apology. You can find the apology yourself. It's all on their website and stuff as well. But yeah, overall, it's going to be some benefits going from this. Hopefully, like with free to play launch, might not be
Mm.
messy.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm a little more confident with
Mhm.
hearing this off from that aspect of it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I uh I think like it's more so a positive because I think everything that's kind of been screwing up with the game was, as you said, the service, the login queues, and I guess server instability once you're in game as well. And I like for the most part, DE was kind of responsible for all of that, and I'm glad it's happened now that they parted ways. Um, while uh while Airship kind of looks for a better or like a new partner for publishing. I think that's what they said as well, that they're okay to publish on their own, but ideally they would like an external third party to handle all their publishing stuff. So yeah, no, look, D has obviously done really well with Warframe and I think Soulframe that's coming out as well in publishing, but their track record isn't that great too. Like there's a bunch of other games that they unfortunately did mess up.
Yeah,
So
bunch of failed games, and I think people also forget that DE is great at Warframe, and there is
mhm,
Soulframe, but that's kind of like a Warframe spin-off. But
yeah.
anything outside of that Warframe IP, ain't doing so hot. So
Mm.
for this separation,
Hmm.
and the fact that they had to do layoffs, yeah, benefit. But we'll get a little more into that. We have got an AMA coming up where some of the
Mm.
questions that you guys may have will be answered in that.
Yeah,
But
but I
the
think like
overall
yeah, leading into the
thoughts,
topic, yeah,
yeah,
I think it's
overall
fine.
thoughts on this though. Like, what do you think? Like,
Yes, I think as you said, it's probably a positive sign to be honest. Like it was definitely a problem that wasn't going away, even if whenever they rolled out uh mid-season content updates or something, it just felt like something was going wrong. So it'll be very interesting to see when like a part of season two kind of comes out, as they said, how stabilized the game will be, or is it going to be running into the same issues kind of thing. It's hard to. I think it's a bit too early to say like if this is a good or bad move because we don't know the results of it. But I think I can speculate in saying like it's definitely good that they've kind of identified the problem, which was the server stuff, and they've kind of been like, okay, this has been working. Let's try something new. And I think that's a positive thing, especially in early access when like it's not free to play yet. I'm glad they're doing it now rather than later too.
yeah,
Mm.
like my overall thoughts again. Take it as a positive. I do like D. A bit,
Mm.
I'm a big supporter of D, but
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, when you've got the YouTubers spouting false info, you kind of have to be the other guy on the other side, right?
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm put it this way: this isn't because of the way Wayfinder is.
Yeah.
They had to have layoffs. Okay, this isn't anything to do with how Wayfinder performed because D had a large part in the way Wayfinder performed at early access.
Yep.
It's on them. It is on
Mm.
Airship as well. Don't get me wrong. Like there needs to be some communication there.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you can't just come out make a YouTube video saying it's all Wayfinder. Um,
Yeah.
I think with that though, let's go on to the Dev AMA. There's some really cool stuff here we managed to pick out. So there
Mm.
was two Dev AMAs.
Yep.
We had one from Solid and we had one from Snarf.
Okay.
I have just picked out questions and answers from these, which I think
Sounds good.
people will want to hear.
Let's
Um,
do it.
I can't tell you what AMA they're from, but you can find both of these on the Discord for Wayfinder.
Yeah, it's a Q&As basically from the last couple of weeks that's just kind of compiled up that we thought we'll kind of get into.
Um, Wolfer, why don't you start us off on the first one, buddy?
Yeah, yeah. So the first one was basically okay. Yeah. So the first question is, what changes on the player end should we expect to see, and then when can we see the changes? And then the answer we got essentially was, what changes is actually we'll get stuff out to you faster and a little bit more lean. So that's interesting that they are saying that we can actually get content out faster when they decide to like I don't know, like nerf or buff a few things, which is actually very interesting, Tom.
Yeah, so with that one, the only way I could kind of put it in basic terms for people for this is imagine you've got a piece of homework
Mhm.
and you are like that's called DE in this situation your parents.
Mm.
Okay, you're showing it to your parents first, and then it goes off to your teachers. Well, because of this at the moment, Airship's not having to show their homework to the parents; it's going straight to the teachers. So
There you go.
you're gonna get that stuff out a little quicker. It's a more direct route. I'm not
Yeah,
saying like it's totally positive in that sense, but um, for updates they should be out a little quicker.
yeah.
But let's move on with the next question.
Mm.
Um,
Did
yeah, go on.
do yeah, yeah, I can read out a couple more. So did we lose any developers or developer mentors in the process? I wasn't clear what the support role of DE kind of entailed. And basically Airship replied with, no, we obviously had people who we worked with at DE, but none of DE directly developed the game, which is interesting. So they were just purely on the publishing stuff, and I think they're just trying to get out the fact that the game is not going anywhere, or there's not going to be any changes to the game or content is going to be any slower. Is I think what they're trying to get at. It's just purely that they don't have a middleman to go publishing to Sony or like to Steam or whatever.
So yeah, basically with this one, it was only layoffs at DE, right? It was DE that
Mm,
took the hit. Airship is still
yeah.
here. It's still got its full dev team. They're still going
Mm,
strong. Like
mhm,
nothing's changed on the airship side of it. So
mhm,
Wayfinder is exactly how it was yesterday and how it will be
mm,
tomorrow.
yeah. This one's an
Uh,
interesting one.
yep.
This was a question was yeah. So this was how badly does today's news affect your team's development wise, like in terms of morale. I see that you mentioned that changes can come quicker due to DE not interfering, but are there any other side effects? And I think this was Solid who replied. There's a morale aspect to it, but I feel our crew is amazing and they understand where we're going and are invigorated more than ever to do rad stuff at the game. So the fact that the team isn't really feeling like it's a huge letdown is a good sign, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I think he summed it up pretty nicely
Yeah.
there. Like, obviously,
Mhm.
they're sad because I'd imagine the guys that were with them, like with DE and that, they're good colleagues and friends of theirs probably,
Mm,
but
mm,
it's what it is, you know. But
yeah.
yeah, that's probably what they meant by took the morale and that. Yeah, they lost some
Yeah, for
good
sure.
friends there.
Good friends out there, yeah. But I mean, stuff happens. If it's not working, some changes are needed.
Sure.
And then I guess will Airship look for a new publisher is probably the most biggest one. And I think yeah, they've been pretty upfront about saying that yeah, no, like ideally we would like that. We've also operated like the day to day for Wayfinder, so really like there's not going to be changes to us, but I think in the long term it's not sustainable for them to like not go without a publisher. Is I think what they're kind of getting at.
I don't know. I think they could publish. It really depends. Because
Mm,
this is like the confusing part, right?
yeah.
They've not taken themselves publishing completely off the table. They've
Mm,
kind of kept that, card on the table.
yep.
But I think they would probably prefer to go under a publisher.
Yeah, I mean, I think that can definitely be sustainable. I think if anything, there's a bit more pressure for free to play to work, if they want to publish themselves. Just because, like, I feel like if free to play goes very positively, and we do see like an improvement in service in the next 6 months or so, with obviously like Airship publishing themselves, then maybe who knows, like they can probably just continue to sustain their own publishing, but yeah, I think like if free to play might like there's still server problems around that time. They might definitely feel a little bit of a hit from player base and like maybe like money coming in to like do improvements and stuff like that.
Yes, it's I guess it's more of a wait and see on that aspect. 'Cause I mean, look at DE with Warframe. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that and leave it on that note.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Airship
Mm,
could do it, but I
mm,
feel like they may want the safety net of having a publisher there. I mean,
yep,
just because this is new for them, right? They've not done a game like this before,
for
so they
sure. Yeah.
may want just the insider knowledge to really kind of
Mm,
improve the game and make it more
yeah.
attracting.
Hmm.
Because like it's like if me and you have an idea right now, it may
Yep.
seem good to me and you, but then we have a bias where
Mm,
having someone on the outside that can kind of point you more in the right direction and tell you if you're wrong or right, or
yep.
um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see with time on that.
We'll definitely see.
Do you want to wrap up the next one and then
Yep.
I'll take over?
Sounds good. And then my final question is, what is the biggest gap you're going to have to fill because of this? You mentioned launch delays, but if you guys do all dev in-house, I'm curious to see what has actually changed. And then it was basically all day-to-day operation was with Airship anyway, so Airship was like maintaining service and all that. I'm assuming. So the only exceptions that DE really had or maintained was basically login queue accounts, and I think servers too.
Yeah, this one. So the day-to-day operations would be like them fixing the game, doing patches, working
Mm.
on
Hmm.
stuff like that, and then
Yep.
like the logging queue. I know like the Steam accounts are under DE.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the logging queue. Everyone remembers the logging queue from early access, right? Like,
Mm.
how many
Oh boy.
times did that break?
Yeah.
But yeah. So, like to sum that up, though,
Mm.
from what they're saying, and what we're kind of thinking, nothing's gonna really change.
Mm.
Um, and if it does, it's gonna be mitigated to the point that we shouldn't feel the effect of it. So we know eventually the accounts will be handed over to Airship.
Mm.
Um, but that's going
Yep.
to be at a later date. And
Hmm.
what we're told is nothing should change for us on that front either. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
okay, let's go on. So we got the question of Affinity respec soon. Okay, so the Affinity respec soon, and that actually might be coming sooner than they were planning for, but
Mm.
there's no promises. But it is on the immediate docket because it is a highly requested thing, especially with that extra
Yep.
point in the affinity. A lot of people are starting to figure out maybe I could go 15-0-15, etc. They want to change
That
up
would
those
be nice.
builds.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
very much needed. So I'm hoping
yes.
I'm really hoping it comes out in like the next month or so. It really needs to come out.
The one thing I'm actually looking forward to with that is the amount of people that want to theory craft builds right now can't. But I feel
Yeah.
like when that comes out, there's going to be quite a few
Yeah.
different builds because you're locked in at a build right now. So a lot of
Mhm.
people are specking in with whatever the status quo is, and they don't
Exactly.
really want to experiment because they
Mm.
can't change. With this, they can change, and with this, you're probably going to see some new builds. I'm not saying you'll see some new meta builds, but I'm saying you'll see some new enjoyable builds at least.
Yep.
You never know. You might find a new meta build that hasn't been done though.
Exactly. I'm very excited for when this comes out because yeah, there's definitely people who also screwed up their builds that want to like, have like a really good wayfinder for their main and they can't right now. So it's yeah, the respec thing will really is much needed.
I feel the pain of that on my Wingrave
Yeah, yeah.
because there's a damage buff one in the
Oh, yeah.
in the last, and I don't have that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep. That feels bad, man.
that would come really handy for some of the stuff that
Mm.
we've done with the Reaver King lately.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's
Okay,
fair.
let's go on to the
Mm.
next one then. So we have how's the timeline coming for release? So the answer to that was roadmap and timeline is more likely adjusted. We will still be working on a consistent and meaningful balances, stabilization, bug fixes, and content. So
Mhm.
uh, there's going to be some changes to how they do things.
Mm.
Um, not going to be a lot though, I'd imagine. Um,
Yeah,
but I'd imagine with season two will come in parts. I think me and you were talking about this
yeah.
before the pod, right? So
Mm.
I'm not expecting mounts and the affinity stuff and
Mhm.
sorry, awakening stuff and all that to come all out at once in one big patch. A ton with balances and that.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be broken down, so you'll get some of it on the season two launch.
Mm.
And then you'll get some more towards the mid-season update, and
Yeah.
kind of in between those, as well.
Yep.
Don't expect it all at once. It's going to
Mm.
be a very good season though for Wayfinder on in terms of content to the game and
Yep.
just mounts. Game changer
No,
right
no.
there.
And I agree. I think that kind of answers like a few of the other AMA questions that's kind of been posted regarding content release, like with Wayfinders being delayed, and all that. I think, as you said, it's just with this DE news. I think the only change we're going to see is in season two is going to be like more of a staggered effect rather than like a whole like here's season two with all the releases of like the new stuff like mounts and all that. I think season two we're probably going to get a little bit less content, but we're going to get more content more frequently, if that kind of makes sense. So in a month, so if season two was meant to come out, we might just get like a fair bit of new content, but not all of it. And then maybe like a month or two later, we'll get like the second half of like what season two was meant to entail, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
This kind of goes in with the Grendel one. Like, is Grendel
Mhm.
delayed? And they've put not necessarily, like, they're
Yeah.
still working on him and they're still
Hmm.
moving forward as intended. So it sounds like stuff's on track still, but stuff could change. We then have another question, like, hey
Hmm.
Snarf, what happens with our accounts? Are they still tied to DE? We kind of covered this a little earlier, but the answer is technically yes for now. All ownership will transfer to us. Nothing changes for you all. Okay, so just like we said earlier,
Hmm. We will be
everything,
fine.
yeah.
Yep. Like all your
Uh,
data is protected. It's not all your progress isn't going to go anywhere.
yeah.
Mm.
We then have, when does season 2 release?
Mm.
Uh, the answer to that is, like, it's going to be a shake-up of release windows,
Hmm.
considering the news that's gone on with the publisher.
Yep. Yep.
But that doesn't change the content that they have coming down the pipes. It just means like release windows might be slightly shifted. Like some might be
Mm.
shifted more than others. Like, and by that I mean they can actually bring some of the stuff forward. So like with the respec one that was planned for season 2, they might actually be able to pump that out before season 2, for example.
Hmm.
Um, they're gonna try at least, but it just means not everything has to be tied to certain updates. They can actually pre-release
Mm.
stuff faster.
Yep.
They could also delay stuff though if any problems come with them. Like it's not all set in stone.
Yep. Yep. Completely agree.
And then this kind of ties in with a conversation earlier that we had was, do you think self-publishing is on the table?
Mm.
And the answer to this is it's an option, but we would rather likely find a
Mm.
new publishing home with a great partner.
Yep.
Um,
Which I think is pretty
and
good. I think they can take a bit more time to like flesh out who their partner could be and how that relationship's gonna go, rather than just be like, oh, like we need a partner and rush into a new like deal, I guess, to publish. So I think that's a really good approach.
yeah, but like it also shows that they've not taken that off the table either. If they have the self-publish,
Exactly.
it might be an option that they want to do. But I think with that, that wraps up the Q&A, right? So we just have
Mm.
a couple of other topics to go
Mhm.
over.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the XP buffs because that's one of the other things
Yeah.
that went on, and that's a pretty big
Mhm.
change, right?
300% XP buff. That's a lot of numbers, Tom. That's a lot of numbers.
Yes. All I can say to this XP buff really is why did
Mm.
you nerf the pages when they saying they were too much XP? And then buff 300% XP on multiple things.
Yeah.
It just don't
Oh,
make sense to me. Like, do you remember when they nerfed them? And I said, like,
yep.
where's the maths in? Like, again, where's the maths in this? Like,
It is, yeah. It does sound like a little bit ludicrous, like the amount of XP I'm getting compared to what I was getting before. Like it's unbelievable. Um,
in that regard, though, I say like it's really good right now. So
mhm.
if you're a player that hasn't
Like on the
played,
casual side.
yeah, if you're casual, if you haven't played in a while, if you're new to Wayfinder, now's a
Mm.
really good time to get in because you can get that stuff leveled up, catch up.
In
Uh,
like a day.
we actually done we almost done
Mm.
Malt's heroic Kairos. We was
Oh
leveling
wow.
him up. He's almost
Nice.
maxed, and that was just in a short play hour session. I think that was what, two
Yeah.
hours, and he was almost level 30. That's
Yeah.
without us using imbuements. We were just farming echoes. Really, it wasn't anything specific for XP, but it could be
Mm.
faster if we use the imbuements. That's the
Yeah.
other thing now. Imbuements also, like the amount you use, also increases the XP. So one imbuement
Yeah.
10%, two imbuements 20, three 30.
Mm.
I feel like a lot of people are just going to be sticking probably with two imbuements.
Yeah.
The
But
third
there's
one,
no
the third
I'm
one's kind
okay
of
dropping
annoying, right?
10%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would still not an inclination. I like that they tried. I see what they did, but I mean, sorry guys, I can't do shadow triple. That's it's a bit much for me.
Have you like noticed any? I asked Malt this the other day, so I've got his opinion.
Mm.
Like when you've played, did you notice anything about the battle pass XP and stuff as well? Because that's going up kind of quick right now as well. Like,
Oh, does the XP affect the battle pass? I actually didn't realize because it's like I wasn't paying too much attention to it.
yeah, they increased the
Oh.
amount of battle pass XP you get as well.
Maybe
Um,
that's temporary because like it's almost season 2 and they're like trying to get the players who haven't really like got their battle pass up to just kind of get that over the line before season 2 starts. But I imagine they would want to slow that down as soon as season 2 starts.
they did say they would look at tweaking it as jobs and that come out.
Yeah,
But the
there you go.
actual like XP itself, like the 300%, or normal XP, character XP, and stuff,
Yeah. Mhm.
that's permanent. That ain't getting switched off. They might tweak it up and down, a bit, but it is going
Yeah,
to stay
yeah.
around that level. They're happy with where that is for now.
No, I'm
Um,
okay with that. It just means like the more casuals can like get all their characters to level 30, like not everyone has the time to like grind and level it out kind of thing.
I feel like the speed of it right now, I feel like it's at a good place. It's not Warframe
Yeah.
stupid done in 5 minutes,
Mhm.
but it's not like I've got to spend. I think I was watching one of the a Wayfinder video on how long it took you to get from level 1 to
Mm.
30, and I think it was like 17, 18 hours. So that
Oh wow.
time's drastically reduced.
Mm.
Drastically. Um,
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I mean, I'm happy with it all because like there was definitely some grind periods like where I was feeling it. So I'm happy that they decided to increase the XP a bit.
but I feel like the good thing as well was the weapon, like the weapon XP. Like you just get to play
Mm.
with the weapons more now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
And
easier
that
to get them
really,
to 30.
yeah, it really
Yeah.
kind of gives you the option to change up your build a bit on that. But,
Mhm. No, no,
with that,
exactly.
think with that though as well,
Mhm.
we have a small announcement, and that is the ability power is being worked on right now, right? So I guess
Yeah, yeah.
for those of you that don't know, a certain uh, old Wayfinder of mine, Heroic Kairos, used to be like absolute
A
king of
thing.
Dread Legion. You may have noticed he's not. I mean, it's playable, but
Mhm.
he's no biscuit. Like that guy's not cracking out
What
200k plus damage now. It's kind of like on average 30 to 40k.
mm, massive that.
Um, his two also got nerfed. The epitaph as well. Oh, got absolutely
Mm,
gutted, and we'll be talking a little more on the epitaph soon as well because there's some fun stuff with that. But
mm,
yeah, ability power. So from what I can work out is they're gonna be tweaking how Wayfinder abilities interact with ability power. So
mm.
one example, and this probably isn't the case, they could be adding kind of like what's the word? I think it's modifiers or something for individual skills maybe on the Wayfinder. So let's say like Kairos is 2, it's a flat 1 point, just 1, and then
Yep.
his ultimate scales off it by 1.5 times instead. So they can
Mm,
kind of balance the skills a little more.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be exactly like that, but it's going to be very similar to how that is. In short, heroic Kairos
Yeah.
may rise again.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Um,
hopefully. I do miss playing him, so it'll be really nice to have him back
I
to full
am
speed.
actually a little worried as well about this
Mm.
because we also have Silo and Venomous.
Mm.
You know, their dots and stuff. Like, it really depends how they want to go with this.
Mhm.
A couple of other Wayfinder skills as well. This might actually work out okay for Senja a bit more as well. Um,
Yeah.
Hopefully might tie into a rework more, maybe, or it really
Mm.
depends where they go with that. But
Yeah.
overall, big positive step for the game. Ability
Mhm.
power being worked on.
Yeah.
If
Completely
anything
agree.
you want to add to that, like,
No,
does it
I mean,
shock
like,
you that they're doing it?
no, I mean, I expected it, to be honest. Like, I'm glad, like, they're onto it, and there's some updates regarding that topic. But as I said, I think it really needs to be worked on to get Kairos back to speed. Like, essentially right now, it really is only Ven, Wingrave, Silo, um, really, like, those are, like, like, I guess, quote unquote, meta wayfinders. So it'd be nice to get, like, Kairos back up there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, outside of even when Kairos was in his heyday,
Mm,
I know he was really good for skipping boss phases and that.
mm,
But
mm,
once you'd used all that burst up,
mm.
you were screwed. Well,
Oh,
your
yeah.
damage isn't
Well, that was the
high.
downside. Yeah, that was a, like the yeah, the balance side, I guess, to Kairos. Like it's like high hit damage, but also a big like recharge time, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
No,
so it's
no,
going to be
sounds good.
looking forward to seeing how we're
Yeah.
going that. So the
Mm,
other thing to tie in kind of with that, although this is
mm,
more again a Kairos thing. Well, not
mm,
actually. It's more of a weapon thing. It's the epitaph, guys. It's the scythe.
mm.
It's the weapon. It's the
Thank
weapon.
God. Yeah.
The weapon that sold me on the game with Kairos.
Mm,
Um, they have done some improvements to it.
mm.
So a lot of the complaints, if you go back and watch earlier podcast, me and Landon, Christ, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, me and Landon were talking about Epitaph and saying how it's pretty slow, feels
Mm,
bulky.
mm,
Well, they're going to be touching it up. There's
mm.
going to be a video playing on your left right now, kind of showing you the difference. And overall, I'd say it's a really good positive step, and I feel like
Mm.
other weapons could kind of do with this kind of tweaking as well.
Yep.
Um, for the Epitaph, though, it's going to come down to the weapon ability. Probably needs touching up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, making it attack fast is great. It does make it a lot more usable, but it's still not going to be competing if you're going to leave it with the same kind of
Mm.
effect it has now. That
Yeah.
kind of needs to be buffed up there, I think, to compete with other weapons. It doesn't have to be too much, but it's
Mm.
Kyros's signature weapon, so it kind of needs to stand out a bit more. Because right
Yeah.
now, even if you sped up the animations, I wouldn't touch that weapon even for a stat
Yeah.
stick.
No, no, fair enough. Like I haven't played too much with Epitaph, but I mean, I'm really hoping with the new fixes, like it'll draw me into the weapon again. So interesting to see what they have in store.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see if they do touch up the other weapons, and if
Mm.
so, like how they go about that. Because the one thing I noticed as well is Sword and Shield. While they're
Mm.
great,
Mm-hmm.
they don't really stand out to me as you
Mm.
know.
Yeah, the Sword and
Right?
Shield's a bit of a letdown, isn't it? Like, there's a couple of like good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's some really good ones, but it's just I genuinely just don't enjoy playing Sword and Shield.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, they're going to stick a Sword and Shield on,
Mm.
and blocking's great. I do like the
Mm.
counter attack that you can do with them,
Mhm.
but it doesn't stand out to me as why I would run that over Titan's Bane.
Yeah.
I can block with Titan's Bane, although albeit it will cost me a lot more stamina. But I'm on a
Mm.
Wingrave at the moment, so
Mm.
you can equilibrium in there. Job
Yep.
done.
Mhm.
I want more of a reason to play some of the weapon types. The only
Mhm.
other thing is just me.
Yep.
So I'm going to be taking a short break from the podcast for a week or two.
Mhm.
And
We'll
unless, yeah,
we'll get Bing back on to just replace Tom for like about the week as he's taking a little bit of a break, which will be still good. It'll be nice to have Bing back in the pod and like the whole front of like Retribution kind of thing.
yeah, it'd be a nice,
Mm.
it'd be a nice break.
Yep.
I'm gonna be leaving for a week or two. I've got some in real life stuff to deal with,
Yep.
mental health and all. So yeah, Bing's kind of stepping in, and like Wolf has reached out with support and stuff. So
Mm.
yeah, you're gonna have some like Bing back. That's gonna be great, right?
Yeah, no, it'll be fun hanging out with Bing again, getting his thoughts on the game now that he's playing a lot more as well. He seems to be enjoying the game as well. So yeah, no, I'm very excited, and it'll be a nice little break for you too as well, to
You
just
know
take
the
a break from the game and management of the guild and all that.
yeah the best thing of all is I actually get to now listen to the podcast when you do
Exactly.
your episodes and actually
Mm.
like enjoy it instead
Mhm.
of because when I hear myself on these, I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
When I hear other people on it, it's fine. Like I
Yeah.
can listen to Wolfer, I can listen to Two Tap and Atlantis. But
Yep.
hearing yourself kind of takes you out
I
of.
have the same as well. Every time I play back this video, it's like, oh god, this is how I actually sound. How do you viewers listen to this voice?
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah,
and
no.
I think with that, like that is the podcast. We do have
Yeah.
some big plans coming up in the guild.
Mhm.
So
Stay tuned.
we are working on the contest. Maybe some special guests coming on the
Yep.
podcast.
Yep.
We also have
The video of Rat and Nemesis coming out very soon.
yep,
Of Knights and Nemesis, sorry.
and also we have a random draw Christmas giveaway.
Oh, this is really cool. Yeah, plug that in.
Yeah, so in the Discord, if you join community
Mm.
member, you can apply to the guild, whatever.
Mhm.
Come join the Discord. There's going
Mm.
to be a Christmas random draw giveaway, right? So all
Mhm.
you got to do is click the interested button and you're entered in. And
Yep.
that's all you've got to do. And then come on the day, you can come and join me and Gen Chat if you've got time. If not, it's going to be all be recorded, posted on the
Mm.
Discord so you can see who the winners are.
Yep.
Simple as that. It's free prizes. It's all being funded by me. It's my way of
Mm.
giving back to the rec guys, to the community guys for all being part of
No, it's
Retribution,
awesome
all
thing,
being
Tom. Thank you
associated
so
with,
much.
you know,
Mhm.
it's been a good time, and I think without the people watching the videos, I think without the community members and especially the guildies of all,
Mm.
um, Wayfinder would be quite a lonely place right now.
Yeah, for sure. Literally, like you guys are the only thing keeping us going and making content and keeping the hype train still going, you know?
Yeah, it's what a wacky ride it's been.
Mhm.
We're only a couple of months in early access, and
Oh yeah.
there's been so many high points, so many low points.
Mhm.
Yeah, got a new year coming up. It's going to be great, right? It's
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
only
gonna be really
Wayfinder 2024, guys. Okay, I'm going to put myself on the spot and say it's going to be a fantastic year.
for sure,
It's
for sure.
it's, it's the year raid comes. Ooh.
Can't wait for that. No, that sounds good.
But yeah, I think with that,
Yeah.
that's us wrapping up, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, again, join the Discord, get yourself involved. But yeah, like Wolfire, you know what? I'm gonna pass the closing all over to you, buddy. Take it away. I'm
Yeah.
signing out of here.
No, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Support means a lot, so like and subscribe. Very easy if you like the content, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.